Now, you, as you know, turn to this show to hear truth, and I will always give it to you. And apparently there is something that might be lurking in a cupboard in your house that is deeply racist. No, I'm not talking about a gollywog doll from your grandmother. I am talking about the board game Monopoly. Yes, apparently Monopoly is now racist. Somebody's written a book to suggest that the board game, which came out in 1932, is racist because the areas of Atlantic City that were considered to be low-value property, they, of course, had a predominant African-American population, and the rich part of town was full of white people, therefore racist. There was a piece written about this in the hysterical lefty thing, The Atlantic. Let's all read this together to learn why you should be burning, not books, but board games now. Seldom do we treat board games as important cultural artefacts akin to paintings, songs or movies. But commonplace objects tucked into our closets and handed down from one generation to another can tell us important things about our past. Sometimes they reflect patterns that many Americans, particularly those who've benefited from them, don't even question. Arrangements that have been naturalised over time. It's a freaking board game about purchasing property of certain value versus other certain value, and if you happen to roll the wrong number, you go to jail. There's free parking, there's chance, but all of this is racist. Also, maths is racist. Yes, apparently, according to school officials in a state, a super lefty, loony state in the United States, in Oregon, mathematics is racist, and of course, there is a guide to make sure that we can de-racist mathematics. It is a pathway to equitable maths instruction. You can find this online. I think it's equitableMath.org, but I'll save you the pain. Among the things that are there are, of course, teaching guides to be handed out amongst teachers. This is happening in schools in the United States. And an example of why is maths racist? Well, because the concept of a right and wrong answer in and of itself is apparently racist. The concept that mathematics is purely objective is unequivocally false. And teaching is even much less so. Upholding the idea that there are always right and wrong answers perpetuate objectivity as well as a fear of open conflict. So 2 + 2 apparently means WTF. Like, honestly, like, is long division racist? Is the word division racist? Now, it's pretty obvious that I can barely read, and I'm certainly not great when it comes to maths, but the idea that it in and of itself is racist? Oh, yeah, and Coca-Cola is apparently racist. They had a training session through the job site LinkedIn where people were told to try to be less white. What? The sugary drink that I've had way too much of, and lots of other people have, that has, let's be honest, hardly made the world a healthier place. Well, this is apparently what was served up to the people who work for Coca-Cola Amatil in the United States. They sit down, you know that thing where now you sit down and click, and like a Clockwork Orange, they pull your eyes open and you must see all of the images until you change your evil ways. This is a couple of the things that are there. In the US and other Western nations, white people are socialised to feel that they are inherently superior because they are white. Bullshit. Research shows that the age of 3 to 4 children understand it's better to be white. Bullshit. So one of the things that you're supposed to do as a employee of Coca-Cola Amatil is to, and I quote, try to be less white. Now, I don't know how you do this because, of course, only unless you're Justin Trudeau is blackface considered to be acceptable, but for everyone else, it is not, and for obvious and correct reasons. So how do you be less white? Let's all practice this at home together. To be less white, you must be less oppressive, less arrogant, less certain. Certainty is a white thing? You must be less defensive, you must be less ignorant, you must be more humble, you must listen, you must believe, you must break with apathy, and you must break with white solidarity.